right, you guys won't even believe where I am. You could take a guess. This is probably the most bizarre location I've ever done a wrap-up show from, which might be saying something actually. So Jim is still traveling back from Hawaii, and I'm at a convention center in Las Vegas because I was here last night with my wife seeing Kendrick Lamar. So long story, very long story. Hopefully, I don't get kicked out. By the way, if you've been with us in the wrap-up show the last 4 years, I've had some interesting shows over the years. So I've told some people what I'm doing. I'm literally in a hallway of a convention center because my son is sleeping in our room. So I am downstairs in a hallway talking about the Padres who do win this series against the Pirates. So I told you come hell or high water, I was going to do a wrap up show on Sunday night because I know you guys were going to be here for it. So here we are. Hopefully we can make it for an hour before we get kicked out. I don't think I will, but it's always a possibility. So welcome to the wrap-up show on this Sunday night. Make your way in. I appreciate the support, seriously do. As you can tell, we're willing to do it regardless of circumstance. If you support the channel, please click the dollar sign below the chat box. We'll get to all of your super chats here tonight. Please subscribe. You're on content, as you know, for Padres fans. Smash the like button for me as well. You can follow me on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. I remember that Normal Heights. I think last year, maybe I was traveling with the Aztecs. It must have been in September, and I tried doing a show from a lobby. I was so quiet that night. I asked whoever was working the front desk, I'm like, I can do a show here, right? It's like 10 o'clock at night. They're like, yeah, no problem. And then he came up to me like 15 minutes into the show. He's like, yeah, we're getting complaints. You're too loud. I'm like, complaints? How is that even possible? Yeah, that was in the hotel lobby. Here's the thing. I'm in this massive casino complex. The problem is everywhere I go, there's like music blaring overhead. So I finally found a spot that's quiet. I tried to go in one of these like ballrooms, and I thought I could have, but I probably did the bad thing, which is like I asked. I should have just done it and then asked for forgiveness. But I asked earlier, and they're like, yeah, you can't really be in one of the conference rooms. You haven't really paid for the conference room. So is what it is. Anyway, good to be with you guys on this Sunday night. But listen, what's interesting about this series is the Padres win on Sunday, and it was impressive the way they came back from 4-1 down. I didn't think it was going to happen. I think a lot of people probably felt the same way if you were watching this game. There were like 4 innings in there where they did absolutely nothing. But the Pirates bullpen has been good, and the Padres give them credit for that 7th inning. I mean, it was a 2024 7th inning. And what I mean by that is walks, singles, stack flies, right, move the line type baseball. And then the bullpen I thought was really good here today. But again, I think the long view is you've won 3 consecutive series. You went 4-2 on the homestand, which you can live with. I think going in, we kind of felt as if 5-1 would be, a really good situation coming out of the homestand, considering what's to come, the Giants and the Brewers and the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. And when they started 2-0, we were thinking about 5-1 or better. And then they blew that lead against Miami on Wednesday. Then they were shut out. They were so lackluster yesterday. I mean, they had 5 hits in the first 2 games of the series, 5 combined hits in the first 2 games of the series. Then they're down 4-1 in the 6th inning today and 4-2 in the 7th inning. Like, this is going to be an awful series loss, considering what's to come here for the Padres. But they storm back in kind of Padres fashion. And again, you look at what they've done over the last week. It's probably 7 games because there was an off day in there. Last Sunday in Atlanta, they came back from 3-1 down, and they took advantage of an error. Monday, they came back from 3-0 down against Miami to win 4-3. Machado had the big hit in that game, that 8th inning home run, right? Tuesday, they're down 6-0 in that game. That's the largest comeback they've had this year. That was truly the vintage Padres of 2024. Came back to win the game. Then they built a 6-1 lead on Wednesday. They couldn't hold it. They actually gave it up, took a lead, gave it up, and lost 10-8. Then they won. Wasn't overly impressive on Friday night. Again, I think they had just 3 hits in the win. They benefited certainly from the plate umpire in that game. I think the umpire scorecard had the Padres at plus 1.4, plus 1.5 runs in that game. They ended up winning by 1. So you take that. And then yesterday they're shut out. And then today they come back and win. So 4-2 homestand. How do you guys feel about it? I mean, put it in the chat or put it down below if you're watching on replay. Again, I think I'm content with it. But I think the manner in which they're playing, again, I like the comebacks. I like the grittiness. But I don't know if they're playing well enough that they're going to go out over these 17 games and, go 10-7. We're going to find out. Maybe they play up to the level of competition coming up here with, again, the Dodgers 7 of the next 17, Giants in there, Diamondbacks in there. 14 of these games are on the road. So this is finally that gauntlet that we talked about. They're going into it, at least without Michael King, as we talked about before. They're going into it, again, without Michael King. They're going into it without Yu Darvish as well. So we don't know if that means for the entirety of June or not. We've gotten some good news on both Darvish and King over the last probably 6 to 12 hours. So we'll get into that here over the course of the wrap-up show over the next 60 minutes or so. So make your way in, subscribe. We have year-round content for Padres fans. JD Gasher, man, thank you for getting started here tonight. That's someone, I guess, that was working in the convention center. That's a good sign that you seem to be cool with whatever I'm doing. JD Gotcha says obligatory They Not Like Us post. Thanks to KL. Yes, thanks to Kendrick Lamar. Absolutely. That's why I'm in Vegas. Kristen bought tickets for this concert like 6 months ago. And I said if she wanted me to go, I would go along. I mean, she absolutely loves Kendrick Lamar. I like his music, but I'm not buying Kendrick Lamar tickets, obviously. You guys know me, but it was a cool show. At Allegiant Stadium. It was a really cool show, actually. So fun Saturday night. I didn't see 1 second of the game on Saturday. Saw almost all of the game here today at the pool. Was traveling on Friday. Was able to check in and out on the game, but we couldn't do a wrap-up show on Friday night because I was traveling and got in late. So appreciate it. Following up with Andrew McCutchen tied Roberto Clemente for third all-time in home runs by a Pirate. Respect. Homered back-to-back days, obviously. He's had one of the best careers in the history of that organization. I was working for a Pirates single-A affiliate when he was drafted. He actually skipped over Lynchburg. I was in advanced day. He went from low A Hickory to double A Altoona when I was in the Pirate system. I don't even know what year that was. Someone could tell me. My mind would tell me 2006 is when I was in single A. Everyone was so excited to see Andrew McCutchen. This was the top prospect in the organization. This was the top 3 prospect in baseball. I think at one point, kind of like a Leo DeVries, even an Ethan Salas, but probably more like a Leo DeVries. And he lived up to it. I mean, McCutchen's had an absolutely terrific career. Now, he's never been on really great teams. He was on a couple of those Pittsburgh wildcard teams that never advanced. I think some of those one-game wildcard years. But I've always kind of been a fan from afar because, again, I had that perspective. I mean, again, I never called his games because he never played in Lynchburg, but I always had some appreciation from afar for what he did with the Pirates. Now he's back with Pittsburgh, and yeah, I mean, that's an amazing career. To be top 3 all time in Pirates history in home runs is an amazing, amazing career, obviously. All right, so let's get into where was I? I'm trying to remember. This show's gonna be all over the place over the next 60 minutes, if we could make it 60 minutes. Oh yeah, I guess my general point was, you win 3 consecutive series, you can't complain about that, obviously. The manner in which they won the series, I think some of it is encouraging because they've overcome deficits. I think other parts of it is kind of discouraging. This is like my theme of the show of John and Jim on Friday. It's like this offense. Let me see. I have some notes here. I mean, this offense has really struggled, and that includes today. But this is a team that where is it? Coming into today, it hit 203 over the last 14 games. They're still just 19 and 21 since their 14-3 start. So it's scuffled. And this is where obviously the going is going to get tough with what they have coming up here. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with it. And they're going into it again without Michael King. Maybe he comes back at some point in the next week or two. Maybe he doesn't. Kevin Acee reporting that it could be within a week when he's eligible to come off. It could be to the All-Star break. But they are encouraged by what they found out in King, which is there's no structural damage in his shoulder. I know King spoke to the media here postgame today, and he sounded pretty upbeat. I don't think they fully knew the extent of what he was dealing with, but he was asked point blank by Marty Caswell, will he pitch again? And he joked about it being a clown question. He completely joked. He wasn't being serious. So hopefully he'll be back sooner rather than later. And then Darvish is supposed to throw a bullpen in San Francisco either Monday or Tuesday. But you start doing the math on a bullpen if you're Yu Darvish. So let's say he has a bullpen Tuesday. I'm just going to pull up my calendar. So that's June 3rd. Presumably after the bullpen, they'll want to see how he feels. He would throw another one, let's say 3 days later. That would be maybe Friday, June 6th or Thursday, June 5th. Then from there, let's fast forward, I don't know, 3 or 4 days to maybe a rehab start. Now you're in June 10th, June 11th range. And then I guess if that went well, maybe your next start would be in the major leagues and you're in that June 15th to June 17th range, which would maybe be in this, stretch of games where they've got these, 17 games coming up against these teams that have had good years, or where the Padres are going to be tested, or where the Padres are going to be on the road. Because otherwise, Randy Vasquez today wasn't great. He's come back to earth. It's reminding me a little bit of Matt Waldron from a year ago, where really did help the team and ended up making a lot of starts. Like Waldron made those 20 starts a year ago, but eventually just ran out of gas. And I don't know if that's going to be the case with Vasquez or not, but some of the indicators, like you go to his Baseball Savant page and The numbers don't look good, even though his overall numbers on the mound have actually been solid. Got taken deep twice in this game. Obviously, we'll get into Gavin Sheets. Haven't even touched on Gavin Sheets' who's day to day, and that's significant. But you got Stephen Kolek right now in your rotation. You have Randy Vasquez in there. They still need to announce a starter for Tuesday in San Francisco. It's not going to be Waldron. It doesn't sound like, because he last pitched Friday. He would never pitch on short rest from AAA or wherever he last rehabbed to the major leagues. He's not going to pitch on short rest. So it might be Ryan Berger to start Tuesday. So the first two games of that series, Stephen Kolek, Ryan Berger. And again, these are all important games. I mean, it's not end all be all as of yet. And again, the good news is they've won 3 straight series and they've put themselves in a position where they're 9 games over 500. They don't have to play perfect. I mean, even if this stretch was a down stretch, let's say they went 8-9. I don't even know if that's a down stretch considering what they have, but let's say they went 7-10 over these 17 games. I mean, they'd still be 6 games over 500. Hopefully they don't play worse than that, and hopefully they play better than that. But even if they went something like 7-10 or 8-9, they'd still be 6 games over 500, 8 games over 500. If they can somehow tread water, go 9-8 or better, they come out of this 10 games over 500. But the question is, how do you do it with a scuffling offense, potentially without Gavin Sheets for a day or two? We'll see. He had I don't even know what he suffered here today, right? Head contusion and collided with the wall and jammed wrist. And I don't even know. If you watched it, it didn't look good. There's a reason why I've said Gavin Sheets should not be in left field, but they don't really have options, and they need to get his bat, obviously, into the lineup. So, again, I get it. I want him in the lineup too, and you got to get guys off their feet sometimes. Like Xander Bogaerts today, I think DH'd after playing every single game in the field this year. And Bogaerts had success against the starter for Pittsburgh here today. So you get him in the lineup as DH, which makes sense to me, which means you're moving things around. You put Gavin Sheets in left, and you want his bat in the lineup. Makes complete sense. But there's been a couple of examples already where A, he's gotten hurt, B, there's been a couple of misplays, and it's like you can't fit a square sometimes in a circle, and it feels like they're trying to do that right now with left field because they've just got no production out of it. So if you can plug Gavin Sheets in there, who's had the best 2 weeks of any Padre, maybe other than Manny Machado, then you're going to plug him in there. But again, does that make sense, and is that sustainable in the long run? Plus, how long does it take to overcome this? Hopefully it's just day to day, and maybe he's in there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But even if he is, does he look like himself after suffering the injury that he suffered colliding with that wall in left field? I think Mike Schilt joked and said the wall is okay after colliding with Gavin Sheets. So again, that's kind of the state of things here on this Sunday evening, where the Padres take 2 out of 3. Could have been a lot worse. I mean, shoot, you think about this series, they were trailing 2-1 to the Pirates, got the benefit of the plate umpire, end up holding on to win 3-2. And today they trailed 4-1 in this game, 4-2 as late as the 7th inning, and they come back and win. This would be a completely different conversation. It's amazing what one game can do, because I just feel like this is a completely different conversation if the Padres go 3-3 on this homestand. Don't you guys feel that way? Like that just doesn't have enough. That just doesn't have enough. Playing Miami and Pittsburgh at home, you got to do better than 3-3 on this homestand. I think some people probably feel like they got to do better than 4-2 on this homestand. They go 4-2. Tough to be overly critical of 4-2 on the homestand, but again, I think it's fair to critique their play right now, where the offense has been scuffling. They're dealing with pitching injuries. Randy Vasquez has come back to earth. Gavin Sheets is now dealing with, a minor day-to-day type of injury. And you're about to head into the stiffest tests of your season without any off days to come. And the LA Dodgers and San Francisco Giants and Arizona Diamondbacks being, I think, 14 of your next 17 games. So again, there's over 200 of you here live right now. I am in a convention center in Las Vegas, Nevada, if you're wondering what the hell I'm doing right now, because my son is asleep in our room. But I promise you a Sunday night wrap-up show. Promises made, promises kept. Back, by the way, tomorrow, back home in San Diego. Jim will be back in the show. He's flying back from Hawaii tonight. I think he actually lands somewhere between 10 and 11 tonight. So back to a normal wrap-up show, thank the Lord, plus John and Jim tomorrow on San Diego Sports 760. But before we fully get into today's show, we do want to remind you about our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, who's been with us, of course, since day one here on the wrap-up show. If you have an insurance need, no matter what it is, let Mark take care of you, whether it's auto or home or renters or life. Mark is a terrific insurance agent. You can take that from me. I've used Mark for 4 years. Here on the wrap-up show, I've got earthquake and homeowners and life insurance through Mark. I should get auto insurance at some point through Mark. And here's the thing, he's going to save you money. But in addition to that, if you ever need him, he's going to save you time as well. He's got great service and communication, just terrific. If you ever need him, he's going to be there for you. Diehard Padres fan, supporter of this channel since day one. So again, if you support the channel, please support Mark Nimitz. Click the link in the description down below to get free quotes online. In addition to free quotes online, you can call him and he'll talk to you, of course, about the Padres as well. He'll talk to you about saving money on your insurance. So click that link in the description down below. Support our partners, including our title sponsor. Mark has been with us. It's crazy. He's been with us for 4 years. I think 4 years will be August, maybe. So he's been with us for 4 years in the wrap-up show. Without Mark, we probably never start the channel. So it's kind of crazy that Mark has been with us since day one here on the wrap-up show. How's my internet quality, by the way? Could someone comment in the chat if my internet is hanging in decently here this evening? I think it is, but I'm not 100%. There we go. I think we're good on the internet. All right, let's get back to this conversation. I see Rita just posted about Xander as the DH. The reason was it was the starter for Pittsburgh, Andrew Heaney. Bogarts had really good career numbers off him. And, Bogarts today, 1 for 3 run scored and a walk. You look back on that 7th inning. And that 7th inning, let me pull it up, was truly kind of just very vintage Padres of 2024. So let's see here. In the 7th inning, because I jotted it down. Let me find it. Yeah, in the 7th inning, they go walk, single, sac fly from Manny that I thought was a grand slam off the bat. Walk, infield single. Tell me that doesn't remind you of the 2024 Padres. That was vintage 2024. Seeing so many pitches per plate appearance, drawing so many walks. The random infield hits or just hit them where they ain't. Batting average on balls in play, right? Like those innings that we saw, it felt like we saw them each and every game, but it was probably every, 2 or 3 games on average. We saw those a year ago. We've seen them this year. I mean, there have been some crooked number innings. There have been some come from behind wins. They've had some really impressive, comeback wins, especially here recently. They've had some improbable innings. They're kind of built for this, where we've talked about, they haven't necessarily hit for power, although obviously Toddy, we need to get into Toddy, by the way, he's still scuffling. Although had an important at bat and plate appearance in that 7th inning. He drew one of those walks that played a critical role in them coming back from that 4-2 deficit to take a 6-4 lead. But again, we saw more of it, I thought, in 2024. Hopefully we see more of it moving forward in 2025. And if you read some of these quotes that have come out of the clubhouse over the last 48 hours, that collectively they're aware of some of these offensive struggles. How could you not be? They're collectively aware of the struggles and they're doing everything they can in their power to get out of them or to get out of these struggles. And again, they're getting production from some big pieces. I mean, Manny Machado specifically would be a big piece. And obviously Luis Ariz had a huge hit in this game in that 7th inning to tie it up. And then Machado gave him the lead. And again, Tatis, while 0 for 3, did have that crucial walk in the 7th inning. Jackson Merrill had a couple of hits, which is encouraging here today as well. But again, I think collectively you think about it, and I think we're still expecting more out of this offense. When you put Tatis and Ariz and Merrill and Machado in some type of combination, you're expecting offense to have more than 5 hits over 2 games, which is what they had on Friday and Saturday. And even today, yeah, they scored 6 runs, but they did it on 8 hits. And they showed very little signs of life until the 6th or 7th inning. They got the solo home run early for Manny Machado before they fell behind 4-1. What you do like to see is some important pinch hit situations and guys like Tyler Wade come through. It's amazing how he's just kept a spot on this roster for the better part of the last 2 seasons, and he's helped this team win games. He really has, despite the fact that the numbers aren't going to jump off the page. He has helped this team win, and he did once again today. Elias Diaz, same thing. I mean, a pinch hit single in that 7th inning was really important, obviously, because these catchers have combined to hit, 200 with something like a 550-ish OPS. So you get a pinch hit from Elias Diaz in that spot. You get a base hit from Tyler Wade coming off your bench in those spots. And again, I get it. There's teams with better benches, and they'll likely need to make some upgrades with their bench and in left field. And some of the things that we're talking about, like this lack of overall productivity from their offense and just hitting 200 as a team over the last 14 or 15 games. Again, that's not overly encouraging, but what is encouraging is that, when facing a series loss at home against the Pittsburgh Pirates, they found a way to win this game, and that's exactly what they did. They came all the way back, and again won this game 6-4. So again, on one hand, I think you're encouraged because they're finding ways to win series. And that includes both the Miami and the Pittsburgh series, as I touched on earlier, because that Miami series, yeah, they took 2 out of 3, and it was impressive the way they did it. I mean, shoot, all 6 of these games, 5 of them, the 4 wins and the 1 loss on Wednesday were all kind of losable, but they won 4 of them. So that is a credit to the Padres, obviously, because trailed Monday, trailed Tuesday, trailed at one point Friday, and then trailed also on Sunday, and of course led on Wednesday before ultimately losing in that game 10-8. So I don't know what to make of the Padres right now, truthfully. Dealing with the pitching injuries, dealing with the scuffling offense, but 33-24 overall, heading to the Bay to take on the Giants. I really don't. I don't know what to make of the Padres right now. And we're going to learn a lot more, obviously, coming up over these next 17 games. Giants have not played great here recently, nor have the Padres, in my opinion. But these two teams are separated by 1 game right now in the standings. The good news is, I mean, both of these teams are just a couple of games behind the Dodgers. As the Dodgers lose tonight to the Yankees at Dodger Stadium, and despite everything I've talked about for 30 minutes, I think we're at a point in the season where you can at least glance at the standings. I know there's still 100 games to be played, but the Padres have played 57 games. They're 2 games out of first place, having played 57 games. They're going to square off against the Dodgers 7 times in the next 17 days. So we'll get a good feel for how these two teams stack up against each other. A year ago, they stacked up really well against the Dodgers, at least in the regular season. And then in the postseason, of course, that epic series that everyone already knows what happened, and we don't need to rehash. But, they've had some classics, obviously, not just this past year, but over the last handful of years. And we'll see if that happens or what's in store for us this time around. But I'm telling you what, man, there's going to be a lot of attention on the Padres coming up over the next 17 days. It's one thing I think the average fan checks in and out, especially the first couple of months of the season. Like, oh, you're playing the Rockies. Oh, you're playing the Pirates. But you get into series against teams like the Giants and the Dodgers in your division. And I mean, I think we're at the point of the year where it's like everyone's paying attention, right? And again, it's no longer early. I mean, we're in the middle of the year. We're going to look up. It's going to be the All-Star break. And they're playing a ton of games between now and the All-Star break with very few off days. We've talked about a taxed bullpen. We've talked about a rotation that's in flux. We've talked about the scuffling offense, but we're going to learn a lot here. Arizona has not played great baseball overall, but we haven't seen the Padres and the Diamondbacks, and they're not out of it at this point, but they haven't played well. But all of these series, I think, are challenges, especially on the road, whether it's San Francisco or LA or Arizona. I mean, shoot, even Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee's won 7 consecutive games, and they're 32-28. Let me see what they are at home. 18-10 at home. So, let's look at that real quick. So 14 of 17 on the road. Dodgers 21-9 at home. San Francisco 17-9 at home. Milwaukee 18-10 at home. The only team that has not been good at home that the Padres are playing on the road coming up is Arizona. They're 15-17. That's a ton of home games already. They've played 32 home games. How many have the Padres played? They played 30. Okay, just a couple of more than the Padres. Arizona has not been good at home, but I mean, that's pretty daunting when you're going to, I mean, those teams have combined to go, let's see, 8, 12, 8, doing the math here, 28. Those 4 teams are 26 games over 500 at home. The 4 teams that you're playing coming up. So, again, this is when the schedule stiffens. You need to say nothing more. And the Padres have been fine on the road. They haven't been great. They're 13-14 on the road. They've been very good at home, bolstered by that 7-0 start. They're 20-10 at home and 13-14 on the road. So let's see what's in store for the Padres moving forward. I think that everyone's excited, including myself, and looking forward to getting this Giants series underway. And that will be, again, tomorrow with Stephen Kolek on the mound for the Padres. And we're going to see Logan Webb tomorrow. So it starts with a tough test when you get the right-hander Logan Webb, who's got his sub-3 ERA. Again, guys, if you are here, make sure you have subscribed year-round content for Padres fans. Smash the like button for me. You can follow me on X at John Schaefer. Thank you for support of the channel. If you click the $ sign below the chat box, it's impossible for me right now to keep up with the chat. trying to keep up with everything going on right now in this Las Vegas Convention Center that I'm in. In addition to that, it's hard to keep up with the chat when I'm also doing a solo show. So if you want to support the channel, if you want to make sure to see your comment on screen, if you have a question or comment, or just want to control the direction of the conversation, click the $sign below the chat box. We'll get to all of your super chats here tonight. Before we do that, though, I do want to remind you about our friends over at SeatGeek, because they have an incredible offer for you. And that is a $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek offer. All you need to do is use promo code PODSWRAP. That is PADSWRAP. You're going to get $20 off your first order at SeatGeek, your first order of $50 or more. Again, that's $20 off your first purchase with promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app. You'll have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Do want to thank our friends over at SeatGeek, but this includes, of course, the upcoming Dodger series, and SeatGeek is MLB's official ticket marketplace. What does that mean? Your tickets are fully guaranteed and also instantly fulfilled once you've made your purchase. So let's see what's coming up here. I mean, these tickets ain't gonna be cheap, right? Padres, Dodgers, let's say a pair of tickets at Petco. The next time the Padres get home, let's see here, we can search by price including fees, and let's look for, like under 150. So let's get something that's reasonable. All right, here we go. 310, about $100 a ticket. You can get $20 off. This includes fees. So yeah, it's going to cost a pretty penny to get in when the Padres get back home to take on the Dodgers. But if you're looking to save $20, make sure to use that promo code and click the link in the description down below. And we do want to thank our friends over at SeatGeek. All right, let me get to some of these supers that are rolling in. Appreciate you, Rocket, for this super chat. Appreciate you, JD Gacho, as well. Guys, if you want to become members, get the custom emojis and the badges, click the join button down below. Rocket, thank you for the super chat. He says, Sheets playing in left field is a catastrophe. Real left field, please. I had Mike Farron on MLB Network Radio. I forget the day. It was Wednesday or Thursday of last week. You can find it on the iHeartRadio app. If you search for John and Jim, you'll see the interview separated out. If you search for John and Jim, and I actually posted a video as well on YouTube where I took the interview with Mike Farron and I put it on our John and Jim YouTube channel. And he named 6 different outfielders the Padres could consider in left field as upgrades. We know it's early as the calendars just flipped over to June. And I talked to him, late May, a couple of days ago, but he mentioned like a Taylor Ward, once again, in Anaheim. He mentioned a couple of the, Baltimore outfielders, including maybe Ryan O'Hearn, he mentioned, who he said I think wasn't a great defensive option, but could be a nice upgrade with the bat. And a couple others, I forget. You guys tell me. Cedric Mullins, I think he may have mentioned, but he mentioned a handful of names, and I do think the Padres are going to be serious about looking to upgrade in left field. I also think they're going to consider upgrading in the rotation, even if they are healthier, because of what they've dealt with over the years as they've gotten closer to the postseason, or even in the postseason, when they had injuries to like Dinelson Lamed and then Mike Clevenger and Joe Musgrove, and right, it goes on and on and on. They've had all these postseason injuries that they've dealt with that have potentially limited their ceiling or prevented them, or played a role in preventing them from advancing in the postseason. I mean, I'll stick with that narrative from last year that if Joe Musgrove's available for Game 4, maybe it's different. Now, you may say, well, they still have to score, and Joe Musgrove wasn't going to score runs for them, and that's completely fair and valid. But the way Dylan Cease pitched in that game, they had no chance to win that game, even if the offense showed some signs of life. So we'll never know if Musgrove was healthy, but I just thought that probably changed the fortunes of their season when Musgrove got hurt there in the in the wild card round when he got hurt. But I think you have to consider starting pitching. I think you could use bench upgrades. I think you absolutely could use a left field upgrade. The thing with Sheets is you have to find a way to get his bat in the lineup, but you also have to get guys like Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts and Fernando Tatis Jr. over the course of 162 off their feet. So Manny's going to get off his feet occasionally. He's not a young player, and he's trying to play every single day. I mean, the fact that Xander had played it, short for 50-something consecutive games, to me is, pretty improbable. Again, all of these players that are regulars are going to get off their feet occasionally. They're going to go from night game to day game. So you're going to need to rotate through other DHs other than Gavin Sheets. So he's going to have to play in the field occasionally. But I just don't know if left field is the spot for him, especially with what we saw here today. And now we really don't know his status, his full status moving forward. Again, it's, I guess, day to day. I would call it a series of minor injuries that he suffered after colliding with the wall. and leaving the game. So hopefully nothing of grave concern, but then again, we don't fully know. And they're dealing with a series of injuries. And also, is he going to be the exact same hitter when he returns? Because he's had some it's not just the fact that he's come through with like the team's most RBIs this year, second on the team in home runs. That alone is impressive. Like, of course, you'll take the second on the team in home runs, second on or leading the team in RBIs. If he does that for the full season, be like, wow, that's an amazing year. But it's the manner in which he's come through, which is in the clutch. And they've lost some of the games where he's come through in the clutch. Toronto, a week and a half ago, 5 RBIs, 2 home runs, another RBI producing hit. They lose the game. Yet he was like Mr. Clutch and trying to end a 5-game losing streak essentially himself, which they couldn't do because of their bullpen. And then the other day, they lead 6-1. They go down 7-6. There's 2 outs in the 8th inning. I think he hits a 2-run home run. No, it was the 7th inning. He hits a 2-out, 2-run home run. I mean, just a massive, massive, massive home run. And then, of course, the bullpen relinquishes the lead in that game. So, it's just kind of crazy how that situation is all worked out. How you doing, sir? Yeah, they told me I met with a gentleman earlier. I'm staying in the Fountain Blue, and they said I could use the common area for a stream for 60 minutes.
Okay, because they didn't tell anyone.
Yeah, I was told that I could use the common area.
It's not. It's a convention though.
Okay, I literally went to the front desk and had a gentleman tell me within the last 30 minutes that I could use this space.
Who's that?
There were 2 gentlemen that work here I'm literally doing a live stream right now.
Security, so usually on convention level, if there's no convention,
Okay, can you give me 5 or 10 minutes? Is that reasonable?
10
How many?
minutes.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Hope you understand.
Yeah, I do. All right, so we had our what was kind of an expected situation. All right, so I got 10 minutes. I'll tell you, man, doing this show, I don't know how I do this show as often as I do this show. Did I get to this? The SeatGeek code works at all MLB stadiums. Thank you, JD Gaucho. Appreciate that. Do appreciate that for letting everyone know. We're going to have to wrap this up in the next 10 minutes because, as you heard, security says I'm not in a common area, even though I'm staying in this hotel. And I was told that this was a common area. So I only have about 10 minutes here. So we're going to have a short wrap-up show on this Sunday evening, which means I should tell you. Let me just get the reads out of the way while I can. Never a dull moment, guys, right? Never a dull moment. Let me just remind you guys about Underdog Fantasy as well. Best and easiest place to play fantasy sports, as you know. If you use promo code PODSWRAP, that's PADSWRAP, you're going to get that 50% deposit match up to $1,000. That's right, 50% deposit match up to $1,000. In addition to that, if you use, again, the promo code, you're going to get that free gimme pick as well. So make sure to take advantage of that offer with our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Click that link in the description down below. Again, the 50% deposit match up to $1,000 plus the free gimme pick. You could play game 1 of the NBA Finals right now. They'll probably give you the free gimme pick of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like higher or lower than a half total point, for example. So if you do that, pair it with over or higher with Tyrese Halliburton, and you can pair it across all sports, like Padres and Giants tomorrow. Let's say Machado higher than 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Pretty good bet, by the way he's playing. Let's do the same thing with Toddy. And standard play, those 4 things hit. $10 pays 88. You flex it, which means you don't even have to get all 4 right. You can still win, and you can win big. So click that link in the description down below, and make sure to support our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. What are people saying here in the chat about this? Like, I'm not causing any problems, right? Like, it's America, right? Let's relax. Right? Am I wrong? Yeah, exactly. Like what else is going on in Las Vegas? I'm like hanging out in a hallway. Lord. A paying customer. I'm literally staying in the hotel. Yeah, like we're talking Padres. Gosh. Got a freaking Kendrick Lamar last night. Like it was a little crazier Kendrick than it is right now in this hallway. Let me just get to a couple of points that we need to make. Like JP Moore says, John, if we're being lied to on King and Darvish, like AJ always does, and they don't come back, we aren't going very far in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. I'd hate to lose Cease for a mediocre run. Listen, I think King and Darvish are returning. I really do. I don't think that I don't think the intention is for either of them not to return. I really don't. I just think that a lot of it is like uncertain status, which you hate to hear, especially with pitching injuries. Um, but no, I think the intent is for both of those players to return. I'd like to think both of them return at some point in June, based on what we know right now. Darvish is going to ramp back up with bullpens. You ramp it up with bullpens, and then that shouldn't be months on end. That should be maybe weeks on end. And then with King, I heard him tonight post game, and he sounded relatively encouraged based on where he is. Again, hopefully more weeks than months with both of those players. But I mean, is it concerning? You better believe it's concerning. I've been talking about it for weeks on end about Darvish and for days on end about Michael King. It's absolutely concerning, but I do not think hopefully it's the end all be all. Fred Slots and stuff says my friend's coworker's 11-year-old son caught the McCutcheon ball. Owner of Pirates came out and talked to him. He got pictures with Andrew McCutcheon, a signed ball and bat. That's super cool. That's a really cool story. I don't even know who the owner is. Is it still Bob Nutting, who owns the Pirates? They've been an absolute train wreck. But that's a super cool story. Like I said, from afar, I've been a fan of Andrew McCutcheon. I mean, not at the expense, obviously, of the Padres, but from afar, I have been a fan. I mean, you look at McCutcheon's career numbers, he's a damn good player. Has been under the radar for the better part of his entire career. They had a couple of good years in there, but he's been completely under the radar. Like, I'm looking over my shoulder because I know he's going to come back in like 3 minutes. I really should. I should have just been like, yeah, I'm with the convention. Thank you, Johnny. Says, should have told him your name. Do you know who I am? Yeah, man, I did the wrap-up show, right? Now, nobody came up to me, Kendrick, is like, oh, yeah, I know you from the wrap-up show. Although my Uber driver from iHeart to the airport on Friday was like, oh, I recognize your voice. I listen to you on 760, and I watch you on the wrap-up show. So Uber driver, if you're watching, thank you, man, for your support of the wrap-up show. Appreciate you, dude. I probably have to wrap it up, guys. Killed the vibes, man. You know what? Maybe this is the turning point in the season because we've done everything to try to, get rid of jinxes and curses, and this is beginning the most difficult stretch of the season. I'm in Vegas. Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and I'm getting kicked out of convention center public spaces. So maybe this is what the Padres need to turn their season around. And by the way, real quick as well, because I should have mentioned our friends over at Mova Globes. We get their website. You guys know about Mova. I don't need to tell you something you don't already know, but you can take advantage of 10% off with our friends over at Mova. I'll pull it up on screen momentarily. Let me pull it up here on screen. You guys know the deal. 10% off. Great products. All 30 teams officially licensed. Take advantage of the offer down below. Use promo code PWS10. That's PWS10. Click the link in the description down below. Pick up a Padres Mova Globe. They've got all 30 teams, though. It's an amazing gift idea for the baseball fan in your life. Your kids are going to love them. Your family's going to love them. Whether you're a Padres fan or not, they are terrific gift ideas. Get 10% off. Use promo code PWS10. They have all 30 clubs officially licensed. You can see them spinning on screen right now. They spin automatically with artificial or natural light. They're terrific products. And again, you're getting 10% off with promo code PWS10. That's promo code PWS10. All right, so here is the deal for tomorrow. Let me just set the stage for tomorrow. Back with John and Jim. Jim's back from Hawaii. We'll learn all about his Hawaiian vacation beginning at 2 p.m. Kevin Acee is on the show. We'll get you ready for Padres and Giants. We'll try to get a Giants guest on. We'll talk with Kevin Acee. We have you covered for the better part of 4 hours leading up to that game tomorrow night. Then we're back. The band is back together tomorrow night. Hopefully that alone leads to a Padres win tomorrow in San Francisco. Because we'll have the full band back together. Jim back. I'll be back in my home. I won't get kicked out of my home in all likelihood, although my wife will probably tell me to shut the hell up. I like, it's so damn hard. I'll tell you what, if you ever have a YouTube channel and you need to stream live when you're on like a remote or like not home, it's so hard. Like, where do you go? I was thinking about it all day long. Like, where should I go to do this damn show? Where do I go? Like should I have gone to like a co-working space? Like WeWork? Like where, again, I can't do it in my room because my son is sleeping. I can't do it in the convention center because apparently it's not a common area. Like where do you go to do a show when you can't do a show from your home? I think is a fair question. But anyway, back tomorrow. Apologize for the short show. At least I didn't have to leave immediately, and he let me stick around for another 10 minutes. And yeah, what do I do? Like, do it? See, I would do it off a phone. I have no problem doing it off a phone somewhere. That's no problem. Except I can't pull up the comments. I can't pull up the super chats as easy. I can't do the live reads for our partners that work with us. And without our partners, we can't do it. Just like we can't do it without you guys. So Appreciate you guys. Seriously do. Thanks for hanging in. These things are, it's a labor of love, guys. It really is. So I appreciate you guys understanding and hanging with me. And it'll be back to normal, quasi normal at some point. Yeah, exactly. To in the bathroom. That's where I might have to go. Because they're not going to come into the bathroom, right? And be like, hey, what's going on in there? Who are you? You know me, T. Kelly. I'm not going to do that. That's not my style, but it's a fair point. Lactation room. I could just walk down the. I should just walk down the halls with my computer. Just live stream down the hall. Like go down the escalator. Just live stream. I'm kind of waiting for him to get rid of me. All right, I'm going to go because I don't need to get kicked out of this hotel right now since my son and wife are upstairs. Appreciate you guys. Support our partners. Back tomorrow, John and Jim. Be here. Okay, if you were here for this, be there tomorrow for John and Jim. Be there tomorrow for the wrap up show. Love you guys. Padres take a series against the Pirates. We'll see you tomorrow night. John and Jim on the wrap up show. For Hawaiian Jim, I'm John. Peace.